Hey guys, welcome to the Alabama Gulf Coast Zoo online. My name is Hannah. This is Brittany. We are two of the program's keepers, and we're gonna do a little bit of training with our Eurasian Eagle Owl today, Norman. So before we get started, I want to run over a little bit of the equipment we're using today. So you'll notice that Brittany has a glove on, and I will be wearing one as well. That's because of those giant talons that he has. So these guys are known for hunting their prey at night. That's why they have those big eyes to be able to see at night. But they use those talons to actually catch their prey. So they have to have a lot of power behind them. And they catch prey that is about the size of our arm if they needed to. So just to be safe, we have this nice glove. You'll notice right now he's tethered to the glove using jesses. Those are the paracord pieces here. And you can see his anklets that he wears. They're just like a bracelet. And that's what keeps him on the glove currently. When we fly him, we'll use what we call a creance. It's a very, very long, kind of like a leash you would use on your dog, but we call it a creance when it's birds. It looks like this. So what I'm gonna do is just hook that onto his jesses and his swivel clip here, and we'll unhook that. So now he's just on the creance. And then I'm gonna walk all the way over here and we'll give it a try. Now he is used to flying much later in the day, so we'll see whether he wants to participate or not. But that is totally up to him. A little more? Yeah. Okay. I'm trying, sorry. Better? Yeah. Better.
Alright guys, so why we are flying Norman? Think of any good owl questions for us, alright? We're going to answer all those questions in just a little bit.
Norman! You ready?
Norman! Norman! Let's play the distract. Whoop! Good job, buddy.
Norman! 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 Hi!
Come on, right there.
Norman! Norman!
Look at me.
Come on! Come on, buddy.
Norman! Whoop! What?
And do one more, or you want to call it?
We can try to call it since you got distracted now.
Alright guys, so that was just a little bit of flight training for y'all to witness. We're gonna let Brittany take over and start talking about some cool owl facts.
Alrighty guys, so like Hannah said, this is Norman. He is an Eurasian eagle owl, so they are native to Europe and Asia. Now one of the cool things about them is that they look very similar to the great horned owl that we have around here. But this guy is a lot bigger. He weighs, are y'all ready for this? 3.5 pounds. I know, it's crazy. But great horned owls are actually a lot smaller than this guy right here. So even though he is pretty large, he's actually not the largest type of owl in the entire world. The largest owl is the great gray owl. So if you notice, he does have these big yellow eyes. They're great for seeing. He does see very well at night. He sees pretty well during the day as well. Now the thing is that those eyes take up a lot of space in that head. So he is very pretty, but not very smart. His brain is the size of a penny. It's like this big. So one of the cool things about these guys is that everyone knows they can turn their head almost all the way around, right? It's about 280 degrees, not a full circle. And that is because he has 14 vertebrae in his neck. People only have 7. Now he is technically an ambush predator, so in the very tops of the trees or cliffs, I know, and watch for his prey down below him. Now he is a top predator. He's an apex, more scary than him technically. So what he does is he will strong talons. Now the thing is that in the wild they're very quiet. Norman, however, not so quiet, obviously. They have silent wings. So whenever they fly, the wings absorb all the noises.
Pump in, so see if
All
I
right,
show 'em off.
ready? You check the wings? There we go. That wingspan is 6 foot wide. So we can actually use him for social distancing. Now another thing about these guys is that they actually have their own individual accents. Owls can tell each other apart by their voice, so to speak. Now if you notice, he has these nice big tufts on his face. They're not really there to help him look to see any better. They're actually just there to look pretty and handsome. Oh yeah, so the other thing about these guys is that they have asymmetrical ears. So you have one ear up higher and the other ear is a little bit lower. That way they don't have any true deaf spots, so to speak. Now with him, in the wild, he'd actually eat his prey whole. We do give him pieces, that way he will fly. Now with Norman, he was actually a hand-raised owl. He was imprinted on people. He would not do so well in the wild. He has no idea how to be a big, scary owl. If you were noticing, he made a lot of little high-pitched noises. Those are baby noises. In the wild, they have a nice deep poo. And he does have a nice deep poo every now and then, usually when he's hiding food from us. But for the most part, hey buddy, you're doing a good boy. So that he was getting impatient and wanted to go do what he wanted to do. He is 6 years old, so we are teaching him patience. We're not going to give him what he wants. We're going to let him kind of sit down and calm down for a little bit. Also, he doesn't really like carts. So he more like saw something he didn't like. Not a big deal. Perks of having a Facebook Live is you get to see him in all of his glory. Now, one of the cool things I'm sure that everyone notices about Norman is that he looks really big and fluffy, right? Well, that is because they live in Europe and Asia, so they live in a cooler environment. He has a lot of down feathers, but he actually has very long legs. The memes are true. He actually has very, very long legs. And what do you see? He's also very nosy. He likes to kind of look around and see what's going on around him.
Do you know how far can Eurasian eagle owls see?
So that's actually a really good question. They actually have amazing eyesight. So from what I have read, they can actually see the letters, if they could read, on a penny from a football field away. So they can actually see quite a good distance. But if you could think about it, they do actually hunt things like mice and other small rodents. So seeing a mouse on the ground floor is kind of important to have nice, strong eyesight.
How is Norman adjusting to the new zoo?
He loves it. We were kind of worried that he was gonna, take a little bit longer to adjust. He was flying right after he moved in. He didn't even care. Likes his new home quite a bit. Likes to be able to see over everything. For the most part, he doesn't even notice that there's much of a change. As long as he gets fed and gets his naps, he's pretty happy. And bath time, of course. He loves shower time. So another cool thing about these guys, if you look at his feet are incredibly strong. This is why we have to wear our gloves, which Hannah said earlier. They're actually able to grab and hold on to their prey. Now the thing is all of his power is in those feet. His beak is mainly there just to help him eat, but all of his power and strength are in those legs right there, which is why we have to wear these very thick gloves. Now, people always ask, can I feel his feet? Well, of course. Even though he's very well protected, my hands still get a nice couple of bruises here and there if he's fidgeting too much.
Pressure.
He has very, very strong. Most of you know, teaching a 6-year-old patient is an everyday job. So one of recently, patience for an owl is sitting there nicely, not looking at my other hand, kind of looking around, being at ease. Good boy. During training, he does get mice. It is a great protein to ratio fat for him. Keeps his weight at a good, consistent level. Every single morning, we do weigh him to determine what he needs to do to fly. He will either do glove training, which is sitting on our glove and being patient, letting us touch his feet and his anklets. He will do a mating session, which we just kind of sit here and talk with him, just like what we're doing right now. And also flying. So depending on his rate, it depends on what he does. Today we're getting a little bit of everything, all in one session, which is pretty good for him actually. And if he's very, very fat, we will make him work out a little bit more. If he's very, very skinny, we just give him a lot more food. Now in the wild, owls don't eat every single day. What they do is they actually eat really big meals and kind of sit and reserve their energy. Norman, however, does eat almost every day. He does get a natural fast day, which is just a day that he gets to hang out and rest, eat extra fat that day, do absolutely nothing. Just kind of works with his natural schedule.
How long do they live?
So with these guys, they can live anywhere between 15 to about 30 years. I did read a study somewhere that a record Eurasian eagle owl was 62 years old. It was very impressive. But on average, under human care, about 30 is good, 15 in the wild. Now the cool thing is, once they hit this size, they don't actually have any natural predators, so they can live a nice long life in the wild. No? They work on patience, bud.
Someone wants to know if he changes into a superhero in the phone booth.
I wish he did. That would be awesome. But unfortunately, no.
This is Norman's superpower.
This is it, right here.
That's it.
Almost X-ray vision, silent flight. He's like a ninja, really.
Yeah.
He's very quiet when he wants to be.
But very handsome.
Very, very handsome. And he can get very skinny when you give him a shower. No? So one of the cool things about Norman is that he can see things that I really don't notice, like birds up in the air. Usually we kind of keep an eye around. We always have 2 keepers out here with him at all times. Even though he is a top predator, we have to make sure that he is safe at all times. So kind of keeping an eye on what he's seeing is pretty cool, because you're like, oh, I didn't even notice that bird over there. He notices everything.
Lori would like to know, how does he adapt to the Alabama heat?
So he has actually been down here since he was an itty bitty little fluff ball. Got him when he was 3 months old. So he doesn't really mind that much. We do have temperature protocols for him. If it is ever too hot, he doesn't get to work. He gets to hang out in his enclosure and be misted throughout the day. But for the most part, he's pretty adapted to it. Probably better than we do most of the time. And every day he gets a shower, he gets a bath in his enclosure at all times. In the wintertime, he is very happy. He loves it when it's cold out. Isn't that right, bud? Right now he's actually molting, so you can see feathers kind of flying away. Molting is just when owls or birds drop some of their feathers to get new ones in, just like how we shed our hair. So every now and then he keeps dropping a couple here and there.
Like last night.
All right, guys. Does anybody have any last-minute questions for me or for Norman? He may answer a couple. We'll see what happens. At 3.5 pounds, he does get pretty heavy. And if anybody doesn't have any last-minute questions, we would greatly appreciate y'all hitting that donate button right there for us. Any donations are greatly appreciated. It helps us feed our animals, get all the supplies that we need. But if anybody doesn't have any other questions? Nope. All right, well then thank you guys for hanging out with us today and learning a little bit about Norman and watching him flight train.
Hold on, we got one
we
right
have
at the
one
last
more.
second. Is the zoo open?
All right, so the zoo is not open yet. We do wish it was, but it is not open yet. We are waiting to hear back from the city officials, the mayor, the governor, and our director to kind of see when it is safe for us to open. But hopefully soon. If I keep checking our Facebook page and all those, our website and all that, we will keep it all updated. Hopefully we will be opening soon. All right, guys, thank you.